Just a few film nerds breaking out of a rut, drooling over cinema that's hard and uncut. Stick us in your ear, thrill to this month's picks, and come and listen in, we're Measuring Flicks.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to a very special Measuring Flicks. My name is Karl Hartley.
I'm Max Peterson, baby.
Holy shit.
Woo! Okay, it is the Shootout episode.
It is.
It's our very first.
I know.
It's our first Shootout of the quarter.
I feel like it's Christmas morning and day and afternoon.
Also New Year's and some sort of pagan holiday where Satan sucks your dick.
Yes. More that than Christmas, actually.
So, because this is the first of this type of episode,
right.
I think it would behoove us to explain to people what the overall premise of the larger show is.
Yes. And remind ourselves,
right?
what we're doing.
Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Other than the reason, other than the
Just all the
watching
fun
amazing
talking,
movies.
yeah.
All right. So the whole idea behind this podcast, when we first started doing it, was we were going to watch 52 movies, one movie a week for an entire year. And we were going to do, each month would have its own theme. Mm-hmm. And then we came up with the title first, which was Measuring Flicks.
Yeah, it was kind of fun how that came about.
Yeah, it was fun and funny. And then we were like, you know what we could also do is we could do shootouts with the movies. And we settled on doing quarterly shootouts. Mm-hmm. So every 3 months we'll shoot out all the movies that we've covered in those 3 months.
It's totally crazy because we're mixing genres and decades and types of movies. So it's not like, what was the best sci-fi movie of 2014?
No, it's like the three categories that we're covering today are movies about insane people, westerns, and Nicolas Cage, which is kind of movies about insane people.
Yeah.
But I think I've managed to stack them up in a way that makes sense.
Sure.
Which was so fucking weird how like the movies kind of dovetail.
I'm so proud of you.
So
finding a way.
This is our first shootout, and we're gonna pick our winner for the quarter, and then at the end of the year, we're gonna take our 4 winners and do a final shootout for best film.
Man.
But we haven't entirely decided, but we've talked about doing like an Oscar style, other honorable mentions, so that our last shootout isn't just 4 films.
Yeah. And bring in some maybe more dark horse things, or bring back like what they used to do on American Idol, when you could bring back like the person that got voted off or whatever. Is like, we're going to bring you back in for a shit.
Look, it's Sonya.
Right, exactly. We're going to idle some.
I was thinking,
flicks.
like we could probably, because the way that I have the shootouts stacked up, I just went on Google and I looked up tournament style brackets.
That's hilarious.
And then I copied them. So I was like, I'm doing basically single elimination with like a 3 different, I called them divisions. I have the top contenders division, top contenders division 2, which is like ever so slightly not weaker, but those films aren't quite as like devastatingly
they're not
popular.
Like
right. The top bracket is, these movies I'm pretty sure are all fairly strong, with the exception of The Jacket, which didn't belong anywhere else.
Fair enough.
That top contenders division 2, I mean, I've got Man Who Shot Liberty Valance and Raising Arizona there, and then I've got the dark horse division, which is the movies that either you and I disagreed on strongly, because it's unlikely that we're going to like come into some weird unison and be like, Valley Girl was the best movie.
Exactly.
But I did put that division together because I do feel that there's at least one film there, and maybe 2, that could get farther than we're anticipating.
So what are the I can see it, but they can't see it.
What do we
have? What is up first?
So in our top contenders division, I'm just going to read all the films and then we can kind of dig right in. But in our top contenders division, we have The Searchers versus The Jacket. Oh, actually, you know what? I've got all the info here. So it's 1956's The Searchers, directed by John Ford, and 2005's The Jacket, directed by John Maybury.
I didn't even write, so I went and rewrote notes on the ones that I thought were. I don't have anything written down.
That's why I made my crib. I've got
just like a slow clap for Adrian Brody.
Yeah. I've got the month that they originally aired in, the director, and the year, and then I have the information on what you sent me, and I think it's kind of interesting that our top 5 are the same.
Oh, no shit.
They're in a different order, but it's the same 5 films, just rearranged, I think. I don't know if you sent them to me in order
I did
or
not send them to you in any particular order, so as not to give too much away.
Interesting. I'm glad you did it that way. All right. After Searchers and Jacket, we have 2004's The Machinist, directed by Brad Anderson, versus 1995's Kiss of Death, directed by Barbet Schroeder. And that is our Top Contenders Division 1. Next division down, we've got the Top Contenders Division 2, starting with 1987's Raising Arizona, directed by the Coen brothers, versus 1992's Unforgiven, directed and starring Clint Eastwood. Second matchup in Top Contenders Division 2 is The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance from 1962, directed by John Ford, and Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, 1969, George Roy Hill. That takes us into the Dark Horse division. These are these films. Yeah, I know. In a weird way, this is like my favorite division.
Yeah,
it's
there's
like
a
all
lot
the
of
grimy
muck in there.
Yeah. So first up, we have A Scanner Darkly, 2006, directed by Richard Linklater, versus In the Mouth of Madness, 1995, by the esteemed John Carpenter. And then finally, which is like my favorite,
that they're together.
My last little bracket is Valley Girl, 1983, directed by Martha Coolidge, versus 2011's Drive Angry, directed by Patrick Lussier. And when you look at those two movies together,
right.
That's the same guy starring in those two, and that's fucking...
They're worlds apart.
That's a divide between those two movies. All right, so you want to just dive straight into it?
I think we should, yes.
All right, we're gonna start at the top and work our way down.
So Searchers versus the Jacket
The
is the
Searchers
first one?
versus the Jacket is the
do
first
we need to have any
head-to-head.
discussion about this one at all? Or just put the Searchers
I
in there?
do kind of regret that the Jacket did not have... It didn't fit anywhere else.
I feel bad because I did write notes on some of the other... Like, I revisited them and sort of rethought about certain movies. The Jacket, I was just like, nah, that was okay. That's like all of my notes.
That's the weird thing about the Jacket is I remember when we did the episode, both of us really liked it. We got the morgue drawer jokes out of there.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think like 2 of the performances we talked about. I can't remember her name, but she popped up in 2 movies this year.
The Domergue?
Yeah, Domergue. But we really liked Adrian Brody. We really liked Domergue. Sorry, whatever your name is, actress lady. We really like your performances. Jennifer Jason Leigh. Fucking good pull, sir.
Thank you.
I remember we really liked it, and I liked it when
the subtlety in their performances and the makeup when they went forward in time, it didn't seem like overly done. So it was a well done movie. There just wasn't enough to like.
Well, what's weird is sitting in front of me, this is my list in order, so that I can refer to it if we do shootouts and like which ones should I go to the mat for if we start arguing about something.
Fair enough.
But weirdly, The Jacket is at the bottom of my list. It's the movie,
the very last movie.
Yeah, and we should say, by the way, we agreed early on we're going to do our favorite movie, not the best.
Not the best movie. That's just it because. That's 2 different things.
Utterly different, and it's not exactly fair. Like next year, I think we're kind of kicking around doing The Godfather.
Yeah.
Why do anything else? If you do The Godfather, just be like, oh, The Godfather is the 2019 year.
Right.
Season 3. Done. Yeah, it's a one.
You'd have to put it up against like Citizen Kane and some of the other like.
And who wants to do that?
I don't.
I was actually talking to somebody about this once, another film friend of mine, and he was saying like, I'm like, name your 5 favorite movies, and he was like, oh, dude, it's like Schindler's List, Saving Private Ryan. I'm like, no. Not the 5 best movies you can think of. What are your 5 favorite movies? And he's like, what are yours? I'm like, I don't know. Like right now, The Big Lebowski's in that list. And I'm not going to say that The Big Lebowski's a better movie than Schindler's List.
Right.
But are you just going to like get home, crack a beer, and pop Schindler's List on?
I'm going to watch Schindler's List.
You know what I haven't seen in a while? Fucking Schindler's List, man. Yeah, we're going to spin that. Right. Give that a watch. No, like, yeah, the best movies.
I haven't felt like killing myself yet today.
Maybe I'll put on my red dress and
I pardon you.
Exactly. It's like, there are people more qualified than us to talk about the best movies.
Oh,
but
certainly.
We can have our favorites.
Absolutely.
Because it's solely opinionated. So, yes, I'm not taking anything away from The Jacket as a good film, which it totally was. It was just weirdly when I sat down, it's the movie I cared least about.
It's not one that I'm going to put on the shelf of bored on a weekend, these are your top 20 movies to pull from. Like,
you gotta you have movies to hand, and The Jacket's not one. Like, definitely, it's a cool movie to be like, oh, have you ever seen The Jacket? Oh, dude, let's fucking watch it. But, like that's like a midnight. We're already kind of drunk. Right. What should we do now?
Or someone's going through your binders, like, what's The Jacket? Like, oh, dude, you haven't seen The Jacket?
Dude, Mordor, that movie's fucking cool. And you throw it on, but again, like in this stack. It's my least favorite.
Yep.
So I think we both agree. Yeah. The Searchers. We can talk about The Searchers once it gets some competition. Yeah. All right. So you vamp for a second. I'm gonna cross off our first loser.
So the first loser is The Jacket. I almost feel sorry for it being put up against The Searchers in a way, but I also feel like it would be weird to start off with something like, say, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance versus The Searchers. Like, let's just break the podcast right at the top of the show.
You'll notice I avoided taking any of our top picks and pitting them against each other right off the bat. I wanted to give some other movies a little bit of time. So moving on down the list,
to The Machinist versus
I think
Kiss
this is a good shootout. We've got The Machinist 2004 versus Kiss of Death.
So The Machinist is my pick
for this
particular shootout. Okay. I would say Kiss of Death is something you feel more strongly about, or
honestly, the Machinist is higher up on my list as well, so I think we're in agreement, and I do think that ultimately The Machinist is going to win this round.
Yeah.
But before we say goodbye to Kiss of Death,
we should talk about that movie for a minute. If it was up against... I don't want to say if it was in a different bracket that it might win against.
It might have gone a little farther,
but I mean, you can't choose what's going to go in what bracket. Like,
I did,
you
obviously.
Randomize it.
but no, well, I think what it's failing is it was good enough to get into the top bracket, but not good enough to compete there. So even making it into these top 4 films was a big deal,
right? Because that's where the gold is shining in this top bracket.
Absolutely.
Right?
So I think that, like, looking back, because Nicolas Cage month could have been just like utter absurdity and craziness and madness, and just
there was some real.
There's merit to this movie.
Absolutely,
there's merit to this movie. There's other movies in this list that I would say Kiss of Death beats cold. Like, I think Kiss of Death smashes almost everything in the Dark Horse division. Yeah. I think Kiss of Death is even pretty strong against, for me, like it's not going to beat Butch Cassidy, but I noticed
from a storytelling standpoint, it's a real good thriller.
Do you have your whole list written out?
So for The Machinist, I have the notes. But
I meant, do you have all of these films in order for yourself?
I don't. I didn't do an order.
Okay, no, that's fine.
I just picked what my top 5 were, and then wrote myself notes to try and figure out which one was my top one.
Right.
And I discovered through a couple of different criteria, actually more than I sort of looked at each of my top 5, and so the criteria of relevance, rewatchability, performances, screenplay or story, the uniqueness of the movie, the cinematography, if it's breaking new ground, the afterburn effect, or how long it sticks with you after you've seen it, and then is it recommendable? What you take away does inspire you as an actor, writer, filmmaker, and bottom line, did you like the fucking movie?
Damn, those are your categories.
That's my criteria for.
I'm gonna have to borrow that from you because
not a problem.
That would totally make, not right now, but for the next shootout, I'd like to have, because Bird and I think we've talked about it on the podcast before, but Bird and I have similar criteria for horror films. We rate every horror film we watch based on 5 categories. So, and it's nice because you watch a movie and you realize that you can enjoy a movie that's not a good film. Because it'll end up with 0 stars or whatever on our rating, but we're both like, that was kind of fun.
It's like, enjoyed it.
And then there's other ones that you can see are objectively awesome, where you're like, really, 4 stars, we liked it that much, but it's excelling in categories, but it's missing some sort of like jouissance that other films can hit you with. Yeah. So on my list, Kiss of Death is right below Butch Cassidy and the Sundance
Wow. Okay.
Kid. So what I did was to keep with our weird sports metaphor, I did my final 4, which is my top 4 picks. Then I did like what I call my solid films. They're good movies in the middle, and then all the dark horses are basically at the bottom. Enough. But yeah, Kiss of Death is on my list. It's hanging out near Butch Cassidy.
It's highly recommendable, like we said on the episode 4, Kiss of Death. It's like we got more out of it than I think we expected.
It's weird
because we were joking about it.
Yeah.
At the end of the previous month, we were like, "Oh, that'll be a nice palate cleanser." You're like, "No, that was actually a pretty dense film."
Well, Drive Angry was the quote unquote palate cleanser, but no, it was weird watching Kiss of Death. You expect because it's a 1995. Yeah, it's a 95 Nick Cage movie.
It could have been a lot more campy than it was.
Right.
Or it sort of felt like a 90s.
And it could have
drama.
Yeah, and also it could have been more cagey than it was.
Right.
And he delivers, we talked about it in the episode, but he delivers like a legitimately nuanced and powerful performance in that movie. It's awesome. It's a good movie, but it's definitely not as good as The Machinist.
No, that is clearly moving forward.
Right. Vamp again?
All right. So Max is doing a fantastic job putting the marker through Kiss of Death, and now he is writing The Machinist on the bracket next to that. How was that for a vamp? I pretty much was just saying what you were doing.
It's like Arnold Schwarzenegger doing a commentary track.
Right.
Have you ever heard?
Yeah, it was saying John Connor, and I didn't understand his
That's a pretty good Arnold Schwarzenegger, sir. Have you ever? I can't remember if it's it's either Predator or Commando. But he does. There's the commentary track that people make fun of all the time, where he just literally like
says, and here I am. I'm walking down the hallway, and I didn't know what Lolly was.
Yeah, now my character shoots another character, and look, I'm lighting a cigar. Right. It's literally like films for the blind. Is like what it seems like.
I feel like it's like Total Recall or something like that. But
you know the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, cool.
Like there's a Paul Verhoeven track, and then there's one of Schwarzenegger, which is just him just visually just telling you everything that he's doing.
Oh,
I wasn't in the scene, but there they are. They're having a conversation.
Dude, seriously, I'm not kidding. We should watch some Schwarzenegger films just to let that off the chain more often.
I want to.
All right, so we're moving down to the Top Contenders Division 2.
Bracket 2.
Bracket, it's actually, what do we call this? Bracket 3?
Bracket 3.
Or is it bracket 1 of this division? Oh, fuck, I don't know sports. Do you watch sports?
I don't do a sport.
Do you watch them, though?
I sometimes walk faster than normal.
Oh my God, you're an athlete.
No.
Okay. Anyway, so we're gonna call it bracket 3 because we're just moving down the list.
Right.
So bracket 3, Raising Arizona versus Unforgiven.
So because I'm weird, I listened to our Unforgiven podcast today.
Yeah.
Because I'm just trying to pick up on things that we can improve on. Self-evaluation, things like that.
Sure.
And even just listening to the Unforgiven podcast, you sort of changed my mind again on a couple of things, like with Clint Eastwood's performance in particular.
Right.
And the intention behind some of the performances, which I took upon, first, second, and third viewing as bad performances.
Talking about the kid?
Well, the kid and also Clint Eastwood being like that rusty hinge.
Yeah.
Like that spoke to me even more than when we were just having the conversation.
Right.
At the time, I'm like,
listening back.
Yeah, I'm like, he really was intentional in his journey as William Money, and it actually gave me chills thinking about that experience for him as an actor, not only as Clint Eastwood the man, who became that weathered and sort of tired at the time.
Yes, that's the...
And just, it blew my fucking mind all over again. That being said, this is against Raising Arizona.
Yes.
Which... holy crap. I mean, after some soul searching, I think I discovered that this is about our movies that we like and not necessarily we think other people would like.
Right, yeah.
Raising Arizona is not going to fit the bill for a lot of people.
Right.
I think the Coen brothers style is unique enough to actually push some people away where they don't get it. They're not looking. But you can also just watch the movies to watch them and enjoy them anyways. But
yeah.
I think from a purely filmmaking standpoint and what I'm going to watch on a rainy like Saturday afternoon, it's going to be Raising Arizona.
Yeah.
But I think I will rewatch Unforgiven sooner than Raising Arizona just to watch it for real and not through that weird Sergio Leone lens that I watched it through previously.
Well, the thing for me was
I think Unforgiven will still be strangely relevant 10 to 15 to 20 years from now, where Raising Arizona is just a goofy comedy, not really about anything.
Okay.
It's just a funny, fun, living cartoon.
See, I think we're both in agreement that Raising Arizona is going to go on, but I want to disagree with you on that point because for me, I think as far as the thing that stuck with me most about our episode on Unforgiven was I sort of came to the conclusion. I had a note about it, but it really solidified in my mind when we were talking about Clint Eastwood's performance as Bill Money, and you realize that we talk about like physical traits as a character, and you realize that Clint Eastwood's face is the actual product of a life of a cowboy, because that's what he's played
what he did
for his whole life. All those Sergio Leone movies, all those Man with No Name trilogy, all the High Plains Drifter, he's literally developing the rough hips of riding a horse,
exactly.
beaten by the sun, the abraded hands from handling rope. Everything you see in on the screen in Unforgiven, he's earned
that
as a human, as a real human, not a character. So there's a stunningly weird but awesome, and not like, oh, that's awesome, but like awe-inspiring.
Something very awe-inspiring. Absolutely. Yeah, as a person that likes to act. And not get paid for it. But to see that kind of like, you know that there's truth to that. It's not a performance choice. It's not something that he did with the makeup department, said, can you make me look a little weathered?
Yeah, weather me up a little bit.
It was Clint Eastwood lived through that.
Right, and it's and I love like that. It's not even like, oh, and he, as an actor, before he was an actor, he worked on a lot of houses, and he got in the sun.
He was in the Arizona sun a lot.
Yeah, he was a roofer, and he got some of those sun lines.
No, he was riding horses
on a fucking horse,
with
shooting
a gun belt.
guns. Exactly.
Yeah.
He literally became like an old man cowboy. That's what he fucking is. But about Raising Arizona, I think for me, Raising Arizona will always be relevant. Whereas, yes, there's some of the stuff that I love about it is the living cartoon elements, where literally we see
it's not dated except for when he mentions President Reagan and something else. Like the style of the cars. But other than that, it's pretty timeless.
Right, and we talked about in the episode that the cars are even something that like trailer people might own. Like,
well, that's
keeping,
true, yeah.
Keeping an older car
they got
on the
a
road or whatever.
1958 fucking whatever.
But like, there's elements to it that are very cartoonish, like his hair. Did you read about his hair at all?
Like it was more crazy. The more crazy it was getting,
it was
the more tame.
Crazy, the more danger his character's in. Yeah. So he like there's like it's literal
something your brain notices, but you don't necessarily notice.
Right, but it's like Wile E. Coyote type shit, where it's like his hair stands up. Like if you could make his eyes shoot out of his head, you get the sense that he would do it.
Avery Coyote would be definitely.
It's very Tex Avery, but at the same time, it's a story. It's a timeless story because it's a story.
It's about a man and a woman and wanting to have a child and raising it as well as they can.
Right, like wanting a family and not
being able to.
It's a weird story about getting a family and then protecting your family,
right?
Even though it's all predicated on a weird baby kidnapping,
right?
But like I think that's why I keep returning to the movie, because there's lots of like, oh, that movie's so funny, that I watch like 2 times and
also
then never revisit.
Just full of heart.
Yes, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Heart, realistically drawn character. I mean, it's all in the episode, but like I would argue that this film is going to have staying power amongst people who know it. Like Unforgiven will have a broader audience, and it'll have probably more prestige than Raising Arizona.
Yeah, and it does sort of not rest on the laurels of his previous, but it has all of that history and backstory of who Clint Eastwood is, and that attaches itself to that film just naturally. That can't not happen for anybody that's aware of Clint Eastwood and his history in films, and especially Westerns. That history attaches itself to Unforgiven, and it becomes a part of that movie.
Right, and I think that on the converse, the fact that this is the Coen brothers' second film.
Right.
So they're not like, they don't have this huge body of Coen brothers.
This is them coming out of the gate like, this is what movie we want to make. This is the type of movie we want to make, and these are the kind of characters
Nicolas Cage is a name, but in 1987...
He was not a name.
No, not in 87. He sure was, and he didn't have that rep. Holly Hunter had been in some stuff, but like for the most part, since this is their first film, they don't have like big A-list...
No, they have AAA players here. No.
Exactly, so yeah.
A lot of them went on to become AAA players.
Right, and I think a lot of it's predicated probably on this film.
I would argue I would not argue that, actually. I would say that's probably the case.
Absolutely not. This movie was doggerel, but no, I am glad. By the way, the Unforgiven episode dropped today.
Yeah.
So, wait, no. By the time that people hear this, it'll be months.
On the day that we were recording this,
the day we recorded the Unforgiven episode dropped, and I did a little promo for it. And the biggest thing I remembered was how dug in you were, and how exuberant I was. And I thought that's one of my favorite conversations, because I like fighting for a film.
Yeah.
It's weirdly
weird, right?
fun. Yeah. And
you don't have anything personally to do with the film.
Fucking at all.
You really don't have a dog in the fight, but it's like...
I was 2 years old when that movie came out, you know? So anyway, Raising Arizona moves on.
I'm saying Raising Arizona. I was real close to pushing for Unforgiven, which is really strange given my original stance on the film. But again, we're talking about our favorite movie. This one's going to get shown to. I enjoy it more. Clearly, it's the choice. Even
when I made the list so that it wouldn't be easy for either of us. Yeah. And honestly, this is one of the ones that I have little I have lines next to ones where I'm like right on the fence,
right?
And I put them up there to kind of see which way I would go as we talked about it.
Interesting, yeah.
Unforgiven is one where I was very tempted. I'm very torn by this decision.
Yeah,
but I do think Raising Arizona is the right choice.
I would agree.
All right, Vamp Karl.
Okay.
What are we drinking, Karl? Tell people.
Oh my gosh! So Max had the great idea of having a nice cocktail to help celebrate this first Shootout episode. We are drinking Gordon's Gin Gimlets with 3 cocktail onions. Gibsons. What did I say? Gimlets?
You said gimlets. So if we were drinking gimlets,
no,
with
that
onions,
would be
fucking
that'd
nasty.
be disgusting.
The most
gross.
We really wanted to like.
These are gimlets.
We wanted
Gibsons.
to be like pukey as we.
Yeah, we just wanted to like constantly be choking back vomit. So we're having
Gibsons,
a wonderful Gibson, and you did well. Clinky.
Cheers. Cheers. Oh, I picked it up in the mics
Nicely
too.
Done.
Oh, you do.
I tapped the Baltimore
Always.
thing.
Is it really? What? Do tell about the Baltimore thing.
Oh, it's sort of like just pouring one out for your homies. It's like just a toast for those that they're not necessarily in your company.
I picked it up at the first bar that I ever worked at, and I've done it ever since. And I always wondered where it came from, but now I know it's a Baltimore thing.
Well, it's probably an everywhere thing.
No. In my head now, it's a Baltimore thing.
For all of our listeners,
I'm
it is a
pouring
Baltimore
one out
thing.
for my homies. All right, moving on. Next bracket. This one might be another sticky wicket.
You know?
The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance versus Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
So I did a weird thing.
What did you do?
Because you know my criteria.
I do know your criteria.
That I talked about before.
Yeah.
I didn't write anything down for Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid because it is one of my favorite movies, top 5. It floats between number 1 and number 2.
So you didn't want to know, in a way.
I didn't want to know, but I also know.
Okay.
That, especially up against The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance wins.
Mm-hmm. For me as well. But I would like to point out that because I have a little bit of wiggle room in my list, Butch Cassidy is immediately below it.
Yeah.
This was another like split decision for me, but
yeah, I feel like this is as great a movie as it is. It's like the not the Die Hard of the Old West, but it is that fun buddy or Lethal Weapon. I'm sorry, not Die Hard.
Okay, yeah.
It's the buddy cop film set in the Wild West where you follow the bandits instead of the cops, and it did solidify that as a genre, the buddy film,
right?
And it's also cops and robbers. It's cowboys being chased. It's so many fun things happening, and it's a tragic end to their adventure.
One of the
and
great
it's based on actual people that actually existed. But at the end of the day, put up against a movie like The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, it doesn't stand up to that. It doesn't have a chance in hell.
I agree. Butch Cassidy was it wasn't the first Western. The first Western I ever saw was Winchester 73.
Wow.
But so my cowboy is always Jimmy Stewart, which is weird. And then I think the second one I saw was High Plains Drifter, but I was like 9. So
that's one of the first Westerns I remember seeing was High Plains Drifter or Hang 'em High, one of those two.
Hang 'em High is great. Yeah. Have you ever seen High Noon, Gary Cooper? Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. We're just talking about other movies we need to watch. But for me, what I come down on is I remember from recording our episode and watching the film, the ending. We talk about the ending, and there's like even mentioning it now, I get goosebumps. Yeah, because the part that always sticks with me is the pan out when not pan but zoom when they zoom out of that still store, but they stop before they reach the soldiers. So all you see
with all that clear background behind open space behind.
Right, and I think with that episode, what we really touched on was sort of the like a melancholy goodbye to the nostalgia of the American West,
which is funny because The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance is saying the same thing in a way.
It's almost like a deconstruction of. It's not, because it predates it by quite a long time. Actually, it's The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance is 1962. Butch Cassidy was 1969. But you can almost, if you just stack them against each other like that, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance is basically a film that takes apart all of the stuff that Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid puts together. Because theirs is like this romping, they're folk heroes, they're love. And The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance is like, all those folk stories you heard are probably built on a lie. Unforgiven takes it one step further, where you find out that it's like, oh, he was drunk and he shot his own toe off, and they were all fighting over a prostitute. Like, that takes it right down in the dirt. But like The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance has a weird. I mean,
it's like your heroes are not what you thought they were, or who you thought they were. Yeah.
And there's oh god, that's
and the breaking of the West too, like those ticky-tacky houses versus the Wild West that was alive and flourishing,
right?
And there were, it was a melting pot in the truest sense.
Butch Cassidy is a like a fond farewell to America,
right?
To like the nostalgia.
It's a good night, y'all.
Well, but yeah, but they're saying goodbye to like the nostalgia,
right.
Whereas I think in Liberty Valance, that's a goodbye to the West. Period. Which is heartbreaking. I know we talked about favorite movies versus like good films, but I think in this case, Liberty Valance is both for me.
Oh, I would agree. Yeah.
Just to really, I mean, people have heard the episode, but to revisit it really quick, the contrast between our first images of the like rootin' tootin' West and then those like barren streets with the like.
It's highly like sanitized.
Yeah, the modern West is like totally scrubbed clean.
Yeah, it's like a lab bench that's been completely rokeled and cleaned and like sterilized.
Yeah. So I mean, for me, it's an obvious choice, which is weird, and it's all. Do you almost feel a little sad having to
strike Butch Cassidy?
Recognize that it's not as strong a film as your childhood self.
Nope,
remembered?
Not at all.
Really?
Because I think. Because I still enjoy it as much as I did the first time I see it, and I always enjoy it sort of a little bit more every time I see it. It's always going to be my top 5.
I didn't have that when we watched it for the podcast. It wasn't as strong as my childhood memories, and now
I've watched it a lot more too. I mean, I've watched it recently before the podcast.
Yeah.
This is one of those almost like a yearly sort of watch for me.
Okay.
I think some time had gone by since the last time.
I remember it so fondly. But I just I remember in my childhood version, it was like a different movie.
Yeah. Okay. I can see that.
For me, as it ages and as I age with it, it doesn't
like it less and less.
Yeah, and I don't like it less, but it has more cracks in it.
Oh, fair enough.
There's more lulls, and it doesn't sing to me like it used to. So, and in a weird way, I feel kind of melancholy about that. So
you're sort of losing
my nostalgia.
There's
maybe?
Nostalgia a little bit. Well,
you know what's there are movies that I watched as a child, and we just talked about one of them. Like Raising Arizona, to me, is every iota as powerful and fun and crazy and off the wall and moving and vivid now as it was when I was a kid. And I think that's why I'm a little bummed about the Butch Cassidy thing, is because I felt like it would be. Because
it wasn't. Oh, it's sad.
It wasn't. It is kind of sad.
I'm sorry, Max.
It's fine. All right, so...
You should watch the remake, and then you'll be like, no, this one's
Butch Cassidy's
great.
the best film ever. So I'm going to strike that, and we're going to move on to the Dark Horse Division.
So, Dark Horse Division, I think, is going to be real interesting. We got 2 Nicolas Cage flicks competing against each other, and 2 from March Madness.
We do. We have 2 March Madness movies and 2 Nick Cage movies stacked together. By the way, you can kind of tell that I knew which ones were going to be the strongest
because you put them on top.
Yeah. And actually, I'm going to call it here. I think we're going to sweep with the number 1 seed in each bracket.
Probably.
Let's see. Okay, A Scanner Darkly versus In the Mouth of Madness.
Okay.
For me, this is a hands down, but I think you might be different. Go ahead.
Okay, so I will probably watch A Scanner Darkly maybe once every 5 or 6 years. In the Mouth of Madness, I'll watch every Halloween because it's fucking awesome and it's a John Carpenter movie.
Okay.
Yeah, the denouement, the ending is like, God damn it. Here he's sitting in a movie theater and he's watching the. It's like, God damn it.
The ending that never ends.
That never ends. But Scanner Darkly is saying a lot more. I mean, it's based on Philip K. Dick. It is speaking currently about our opioid crisis and the whole drug war and all of that, and it's shot beautifully.
The rotoscoping sticks with you.
Oh, it's
Talk about movies that you can't get out of your head for a while.
No, it makes you feel a little bit weird.
Do you have notes on Scanner Darkly? Because
I think I do.
If you do, I'd kind of like to hear what you've
Searchers, Eraserhead.
You might not have.
Oh, that's our next episode.
Yeah, speaking of...
all right, so Scanner. Mm-hmm. So the notes that I have for that, going back
hit
to
me
relook.
Up with them. Yeah, I'd like to.
So I think I found it beautiful and very strange to look at. It's beautiful and strange at the same time.
Definitely agreed.
It's definitely groundbreaking in its use of the rotoscoping. I don't think we've seen it done since quite in that way, unless you're Linklater doing Waking Life. He did the same sort of style for that. It's Philip K. Dick done well, and I think it's probably the best.
Which is a rare thing. There's a lot of Philip K. Dick adaptations. This is the best one for me.
I mean, Total Recall is like,
it's fun.
It's fun, but it's not.
The remake of Total Recall is not that great. It's a good action movie, but I think this is the closest to Philip K. Dick.
Taking that source material, which is not easy to cover in the first place, and making something that that resonates like functionally with the story.
I've only seen this movie 3 times, and I do it I watch it seldom intentionally. I think we talked about it in the episode.
Yeah, it
but
makes you feel real weird for like a couple of days.
Yeah, like it makes me feel detached from reality. It have you ever? I mean, I'm assuming you've read Philip K. Dick novels. You said he was one of your favorite writers.
Yeah. There's just a couple of like weird ones that I haven't read.
Right. So I just went and bought a bunch more from Horizon.
Oh, excellent.
But by the way, it'll be closed by the time this airs, never mind, but you should run down there and check out their discounted book section because it's going away forever.
Oh, shit.
They're not going to have like 50% off books anymore.
I'm going to go down there tomorrow.
I bought all of the Philip K. Dick books that they had.
Dude, I'm soaking up books right now like crazy.
But for me, this when I read a Philip K. Dick novel, he is one of my favorite authors. I think he's a true genius. Not like, oh man, that book was genius. I really mean that I believe he thinks in a way that no other human being.
No, he's wired completely fucking differently.
And when you read his...
Kind of like Hunter S. Thompson, but for different reasons. Like,
yes, but in a different direction. But when you read a Philip K. Dick book, I don't know if you have the same experience, but there are books that that'll scare you. You read a good Stephen King, you're kind of scared.
Like House of Leaves would be a good
Danielowski.
Yeah,
it's a fucking wild book. I've never read it, but Bird showed it to me one time, and I'm like, this isn't a book. This is a puzzle with pages.
Yep.
But like, you read a good Sherlock Holmes novel by Conan Doyle, and you want to go smoke a pipe. And it transports you. When I read a Philip K. Dick novel for sometimes up to a week after I finish it, I feel paranoid.
I'm dealing with that with the movie we're going to be talking about for their...
Fuck yes, we're not going to talk about it right now.
Because I'm still dealing with some
shit, dude. I know the next episode that you guys listen to, that movie broke, I think, both of our brains. It's so good. But anyway,
so a couple other notes on Scanner Darkly, because I actually gave it more attention than I expected going through the list. I was expecting Scanner Darkly to be like, well, that's not a contender.
It weirdly is.
But it is. And another couple of notes. It's super relevant, the opioid epidemic, the war on drugs, all of that, which hasn't really changed much since this movie came up. The super strong performances across the board through and with the rotoscoping.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like you could lean on that, knowing that they're going to do shit in post. But you can use it as a crutch, but you can tell they're not. In fact, they're not overacting, but there had to be some sort of discussion or on the shoots during the day of how that process was going to take place.
We talked about Winona Ryder. Winona Ryder
playing, she studied Marlon Brando and all these broad men.
Well, especially not only
to play Hank
for with the rotoscoping and the blur suit. That could have been any actor. She could have gone and just done her role. So not only was she buried in rotoscoping, but she's also literally buried under a suit. Yeah. Like, so she's hidden in a literally buried in a blur suit and under the rotoscoping effect. But she went the extra mile and actually plays his superior officer as herself playing a man.
That still blows my mind.
People go, I know, when you don't know it and then you go back and look at it, you're like, I can't fucking believe that's Winona Ryder.
STAHP.
I think I pointed out that when she lights the cigarette,
Yeah, they all change to women.
Everybody becomes all the blur features become female momentarily. It's Linklater is such a goddamn good director, and all the performances in this are so fucking solid.
And I find it strangely funny. Another thing we talked about it's like comedy versus is this an actual drama?
This movie,
and the different people on set, well, like Woody Harrelson and
you've got comedic actors, and you've got hilarious, totally like you've got Robert Downey Jr. just being fucking
the Robert Downey Jr.
hysterically.
I love
God damn it! Not since Kiss Kiss Bang Bang have we seen such a flippant and fun Robert Downey Jr. Like he's awesome as Iron Man, but there's a certain like flippant, like douche, almost like
his Robert Downey Jr.ist. It's just a beautiful thing to watch. So I would say, though I love In the Mouth of Madness, I will watch it yearly.
Yes.
From this day at 4. But I think Scanner Darkly.
I agree.
One, a better movie, and two, I can't choose Mouth of Madness over this. It stuck with me for longer. I still think about it. Like this is one of the first movies that we did.
It is. It's our episode 1.
Shit.
In the Mouth of Madness is episode 1 of this podcast.
Oh yeah.
But Scanner Darkly is number 2.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the first 2 films we watched, and we will move on really quick. But I wanted to like this more than I
In the Mouth of Madness.
Yeah, because what I did was I sat down and I shuffled. I did a lot of shuffling, like this movie here, and I shot them out against each other in the privacy of my own home. And it's John Carpenter, and it's clearly like Stephen King homage.
Yep.
And there's so many creepy moments, and the effects hold up fairly well. It's got this
a lot of practical.
It's got this great feel to it, but just for a little glimpse behind the scenes, this is third from the bottom on my list. Just we watched a lot of strong films this quarter, and that one didn't stick with me, and I don't think it has to do with the length of time between watching.
I think that's fair.
So we're gonna drop into
We're looking at the last 2 in the Dark Horse division. We got the Valley Girl versus Drive Angry. I have an idea. Let's not choose either of them.
We have to choose one.
No.
Yes.
And you and I will write a screenplay, which is combining both Drive Angry and Valley Girl together, and it'll be Drive Girl Angry.
Or it'll be Valley Angry.
Valley Angry.
Or Angry Valley.
Angry Valley.
Angry Girl. Drive Girl.
Or Valley Girl Drive Angry.
My God, like no matter how you combine those words, they're a great film title.
Oh, it could be like the sequel to Encino Man. Encino Man 2, Valley Girl Drive Angry.
Dude, Encino Man's a great movie.
Yeah.
Bird,
has a weasel in it.
Had never seen it, and then Bird showed it to me, and lo and behold, it turns out that I love Pauly Shore, and we all know everybody fucking loves Brendan Fraser. You don't like Pauly Shore?
No.
Really?
No.
Son-in-law?
Mm-mm.
No.
No, I've walked out of like every Pauly Shore movie. Goofy movie?
Yeah, he's in a Goofy movie. The Leaning Tower of Cheesa. He voices that guy.
Bitch.
Okay.
No,
that's fair. We all have those people. Well, okay, how about Brendan Fraser though? If you don't like Brendan Fraser,
he's adorable. No, it's like Bedazzled is one of my favorite movies.
Oh my God, we're gonna do Bedazzled at some future episode. The fact that they all learned fucking Spanish for that one sequence,
that one scene, and they're speaking it, I don't know, fairly well. Yeah.
Fuck. Well, at least it appears to be fluent.
Right. It's movie Spanish. But
okay, look, we're not talking about these movies at all.
Valley Girl Drive Angry. I would say
there's a reason that these are the last 2 movies on the list.
Why is this more difficult than it should be? I would say,
look, I know my vote.
Valley Girl.
My vote is going to be Valley Girl, just because now. It's this. I have to do a caveat. I think if
I did not like Drive Angry.
If it wasn't you sitting across from me, Drive Angry might have had a shot because I watched it with the right crew. We were all a little buzzed, and it was fun as fuck.
Yeah.
If you watch,
I want to actually rewatch that with you and like 5 other people. With Danielle, because she only saw the weirdest parts of that. I'm like, no, honey, we got to get you a little lit and sit you down with the right people for this.
Right, yeah. This is like y'all make a couple, you just keep cracking beers and watching it, and you have to be in a group. But if you watch Drive Angry right, I will say
It's just fun.
You watch it alone, it's a 1-star movie. You watch it with a crew, this could be upwards of like 4 stars. I'm not kidding. It's fun, but for the
I do love that movies can do that, though.
Yeah,
by the way,
the flexibility of film.
They watch differently depending on who you're watching them with, what time of day. It's like so subjective. It's like music. It can change the way you feel, but it can also the way you feel can change the movie. It's like the weirdest fucking thing.
Given that we're talking about Valley Girl and Drive Angry, can I be like stunningly pretentious really quick?
Absolutely.
So I have a friend who is a classically trained opera singer who's going through like a grad, not a grad program, but like an advanced arts course at a
She's like a fellow somewhere, and
it's a guy.
Oh,
but yes, so he's an opera singer, and he like he performs in operas, and he's been getting more and more me into opera.
Interesting.
And I just watched my first opera like 3 days ago. I've obviously everyone's heard Pavarotti, everyone's heard the famous arias, but I've never watched a performance. If you go on Amazon Prime, you can stream shitloads
like Don
of
Giovanni and all those Mozart.
Right. Everyone knows the Mozart ones, but he pointed me toward Giuseppe Verdi's La Traviata. So La Traviata was my first opera. I wish I could remember the name of the woman who plays the lead, because you're watching opera, so there's this big mystique around it, right? Where it's like, they're singing in a foreign language, and it's weird because they're singing everything,
you have to have
and there's
libretto to follow along, that kind of thing,
right? Yeah. Although I found out that most modern opera houses now
they have the libretto.
Yes,
it's amazing.
How fucking cool is that? That in English, the lyrics are up there, so you can follow the story. So I watched La Traviata on my couch, and I'll show you after we stop airing, but I hooked up my TV to my like legit ass speakers, so you get fucking sound now.
Stop it.
So I'm like watching this, and like 5 minutes in, I'm like, this is fun. 10 minutes in, I was fucking weeping on my couch, dude.
Yeah.
I was getting chills. It's a 2-hour
If you
opera.
let it grab you, you're in for the ride.
Shit, dude. I'm like for real now. I never thought I'd be. I always thought like, if a chance goes to go to an opera, sure. I'll go check it out.
Absolutely.
Dude, I'm sitting alone in my house watching streaming opera on my Amazon Prime account, and it fucking like wrecked me, and then it lifts you up. I got so sucked into it.
I love that.
I didn't expect it at all, but I feel like the flexibility of film is kind of the same way.
Right.
Like an opera can be performed badly and not land for you. Like Adam has shown me, it's Adam Lau. Okay. But Adam has shown me examples of bad opera, and you're really like, Jesus.
Right.
But when it hits you right,
when it's done
right, same performance in different hands, fucking it'll just grab your heart. It's amazing.
Sings.
It literally sings to you, yeah. So, I mean, obviously, Valley Girl's going to win this bracket.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we have finished our shootouts.
Woo! Now this is where the hard part begins.
I know, yeah.
This is where the shit hits the fucking proverbial.
This was always gonna be the thinning.
This is the easy part.
Cutting the chaff. Right now we are in the legitimately difficult brackets here. Okay, so we've got now the way that this is going to work, because I did create a dark horse category, is the winner of the top bracket between The Searchers versus The Machinist is going to go to the final round.
Okay.
Now, the winner of Raising Arizona versus The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance and A Scanner Darkly versus Valley Girl, the winner
those will fight.
The winner, those will fight, and the winner of that will go to the final round.
To give the dark horse a little more
to give some films that might not have stood a chance in single elimination with no dark horse category, to maybe help some of those films get a little further, because I think it's
like a wild card in a way.
Yes, yeah.
That might be completely inaccurate because I don't know how to sport.
Did you notice how I was yes, absolutely?
But
what
I
you
said wild card because I know that's a thing in sports where teams.
It was the wild card over under.
Yes, there was a split decision.
The split decision
and
slid into home. And then the has
points.
To make the touchback. Exactly.
I think so.
Exactly. So, all right. So here we go. First bracket.
Searchers,
I'm legitimately concerned by this.
So am I, actually.
The Searchers versus The Machinist.
Okay. So if I can just start with some Machinist notes.
Okay.
Stories like this are always relevant because it's a whodunit story.
Yeah.
With one of the biggest twists. Like the whodunit is the person that's wondering who's doing it.
The whodunit. Well, I'm not exactly sure what you just said, to be totally honest. So by that road, this movie is not in the running at all. No, I'm kidding. Go. No.
But it's it breaks ground or re-breaks ground somehow in this particular genre where it feels like a Hitchcock movie.
It does. Even with the score.
With the score, with all of that, but it's not stealing from it
at all.
It is creating its own thing, but beyond a shadow of a doubt that the filmmakers are huge fans of Alfred Hitchcock. Probably The Birds, Vertigo, and Psycho in particular,
and Frenzy.
Frenzy.
People haven't
too.
seen Frenzy. This has Frenzy all over it.
So those four then are clear references to this movie, but it doesn't feel.
This to me is the Tarantino effect, where you get like a director that's scratch mixing
fan of the thing. And
it's not that they're ripping off films or even necessarily homaging them. It's that the film oeuvre that they're working in is so deeply embedded in their bones that they cannot help but exude it from their pores as they direct. When you watch a Tarantino movie, you're watching everything he's ever watched because he loves film that fucking much.
He's putting it up there for himself to see.
Jim Jarmusch is exactly the same way. Usually it's harder to spot with him because it's a lot of experimental French cinema.
Fair enough.
And you know what? The movie we're going to talk about on next week's episode, but later tonight, that is, I think I've pinpointed some references to a Dadaist experimental film director named Man Ray, who I'm a huge fan of, and that's the only reason I would ever spot something like this. But anyway, film is a continuum. I think Jim Jarmusch says it best in an interview. He once said that art is like the ocean, where you're all working with the same water. It's just making your own wave. Because it's an ocean filled with waves. It's just you cannot it's ever flowing. It's all a continuum, and the fact that this pulls off quote unquote Hitchcock so well, and yet does it in such a way that you're not like dismissing it as a Hitchcock ripoff.
That's a Hitchcock ripoff.
No, the nuance. This episode was like going insane. Recording this episode was like going crazy.
The thing is that you're going crazy. You're losing your mind with him.
Yeah.
On his whole journey,
100%.
You're like, So it's the best sort of narrative where you're not only following your protagonist, but you are living life through his eyes in a way, and a lot of that's through the screenplay, the way this film is shot, and Christian Bale's transformation,
which you can't ignore when you're talking about this movie.
And his performance is stellar in this.
Right.
It's.
His performance, Jennifer Jason Leigh's performance. This is another film of.
And then Michael Ironside, he steps up to the plate.
Oh my god!
And
he's fairly small role.
He's still playing
Michael Ironside.
But it works in a way that maybe it wouldn't have in another film or a different director or something.
Look, I haven't watched this film or listened to the episode since we did it, and this is our third episode. This is the third one we recorded. So we recorded this months ago. Michael Ironside and Christian Bale in Michael Ironside's garage.
That's an insane performance.
Because Christian Bale, you can point to anything in this movie and he's fucking just slaughtering it. He's doing so well. But Michael Ironside, for a fairly small part and an actor who you normally wouldn't go oh, bravo.
Hey, bravo, Michael.
Yes. Oh, yes, another stunning Michael Ironside. In that, when he's about to go off on Christian Bale and doesn't. Oh my God.
That laughing, not laughing.
Fucking shit, dude. The Machinist. Now, look, we're talking about The Machinist a lot. It is stacked against
the Searchers. Now, this is interesting because you're putting these two together. We didn't know this was going to be a matchup. So, The Searchers is a movie that takes place in wide open. Thank God I was done with that. Wide open spaces. Where The Machinist is all in a lot of closed rooms and you don't really get outside a whole lot. I'm sorry, I tore up your...
Oh, that's fine.
I'm more sad that the
drink is gone? Gone. Thank God I have more drink.
I know, right?
And more stuff for the next episode.
So these two movies couldn't be any more different in their scope.
Their setting is different. I mean, The Machinist is dark.
They're both stories that aren't... They're both very sort of simple stories on the outside. The Searchers is we got to go find the girl that got kidnapped,
and The Machinist
is a whodunit. They're very but what they're doing within that simple story with character and asking certain questions about morality.
I put them in the list where I did because I knew that for both of us, these were top tier films.
Oh, absolutely.
So with The Machinist, I'm thinking about it now. Like we described it as like a Fincher film.
Yeah.
It's so dark. Like dark. When I say dark, I mean the lighting, the use of black
grungy.
shadows.
It's murky.
With the exception of the like brief outdoor scenes where there's a car chase or they go to the carnival, this whole movie exists in like nighttime and darkness.
And it's always him going from like a building to his car, or from his car to his apartment.
And even when he's outside in his car, it's overcast and it's desaturated and subdued.
And he's never really like walking out on the street, and when he is, he gets hit by a car.
Right. And you know what? If we're going to fault the film, now that you've said it, it's that CG.
Weird CG.
So I think, especially when you look at what we're dealing with, which is with The Machinist, we've got Brad Anderson. He's not, I mean, when I said David Fincher, it's because people don't know Brad Anderson.
Right.
And this movie, for the budget that they had, for the fact that they had to travel to a foreign country to fucking record, to film it.
To have the budget stretch, right?
And most of the people they cast in the film are locals because they had the budget for like Michael Ironside and Christian Bale and Jennifer Jason Leigh,
and that's what you get.
So then everyone else is just like people they pulled off the street. What this film accomplishes is stunning. But then you got The Searchers.
But then you have The Searchers, which set the expectation for every other film that came after it. It's like John Ford was already a renowned director at the time that this movie came out.
Yeah.
John Wayne was already well known as an actor when this movie came out. Like, he didn't have to go out and prove anything.
No, he did.
He was established. And then he puts this movie out there and says, yeah, all right, top that now. Or so, I mean, it's true that's not what he was doing, but it was like, holy shit. Like, the shot by shot.
Well, and this movie is 1956, so this is actually fairly early John Ford. The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance is
that was
62.
Right?
Yeah. So...
but he had done like Stagecoach, and
it's not like John Ford peaked early. You watch any John Ford movie and you're like, holy fuck, like there, you just named it right there. But like 3 of the westerns that always appear in like the top 5 westerns are John Ford films, and there's a reason for that.
Yeah, and they have like the Quiet Man, which we didn't get a chance to talk about on the last one, which is another just amazing John Ford movie. And yeah. So, but in the canon of John Ford movies, it's hard to say that this isn't his best movie, and for more reasons than just
think it is.
What it looks like and how it's acted. It's the things that are being said between the lines of dialogue. It's the things that are not being said that are screaming at you when you're watching.
Basically, everything to do with Ethan, John Wayne's character. Ethan.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where it's the simplicity of the story.
We both agree that this is John Wayne's best performance ever.
Easily. I'm still haunted by that zoom into his face when he is in the room with the women that are broken because they've been with the Indians for so long.
Remind me to show you. Like, I have several books on Western film. I took a class on Westerns as American mythology, and the cover of one of the books, and there's in the other 2 books, that exact frame is the cover of one and in the other 2, because it's such
that shot. Right?
It's such an insane moment in film. It's absolutely stunning.
It's jarring. You don't expect it, for one thing.
No, and it's so powerful. I honestly...
You can tell that he's disgusted and just wants to put these women out of their misery. Not even out of their misery, just dispatch with them.
Yes. So I think... I mean,
I love The Machinist, but I think overall... I want to see The Machinist move forward so badly,
but we can't.
I can't in good conscience.
No, not against The Searchers. I'm looking down the brackets that we've got, and The Machinist definitely beats some of these other movies.
Yeah, it does.
But The Machinist doesn't beat The Searchers.
Yeah, it beats. Well, for fun, it beats Valley Girl.
It beats A Scanner Darkly. But when you put it against The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance,
it doesn't.
Does it?
Which is another John Ford.
I'm not sure. He's amazing. And for me, we don't want to spoil what we're thinking, but what I'm going to say is I think that I think The Machinist is a superlative film, and to be totally honest, I think I will probably watch The Machinist again before I watch The Searchers,
because I want to watch this again. One of the things that I wrote down is like the Easter eggs that are intentional
that we dug out of there.
That we dug out, but there's so many more left.
Oh
in
my
this
god! Well, the clock, clock is one of my favorites because the
ticking back, ticking forward, ticking back.
Yeah, it's a digital
forward.
clock,
yeah.
and the time that it keeps flashing is the exact. It's the exact time in the film where the twist is revealed, like that. And for example, the I can't remember what the number was, but I think it's that same number. But it's like a certain number of minutes or whatever. If you take that number and put it into
it.
Then you put. Well, no, we talked about it. But you can fall down the rabbit hole. But when Michael Ironside loses his arm, it's from the moment he says, "Will you give me a hand?" to the moment he loses his hand is that exact amount of time. Come the fuck on!
I know.
The Machinist is amazing, but I think The Searchers. Because we talked about the difference between good film, like the best film, and our favorite film. And I'm telling you, like, if it's best film, Searchers is hands down. But when it's favorite film, it's very close.
It's really close. I'm like, part of me is like, I want to put The Machinist up.
You almost want to, because you're gonna watch that movie more than you watch The Searchers.
Yeah, The Searchers. I was like, oh, you haven't seen The Searchers, you need to watch The Searchers. Where The Machinist, I will rewatch. I'll read. Maybe
it's the Gibson talking, but let's dig into this a little. We're doing a shootout. Think about this. Is this the Schindler's List syndrome? Because The Searchers is a truly excellent film, and it's
not my favorite on the list.
It's insanely enjoyable to watch.
But
ignore the rest of the list.
From an academic standpoint, this is the best movie on the list because it's the best made movie on the list.
This is the Schindler's List. This is the godfather of this list.
Yes, it is.
And you know what? It's weird. It's high on my list of top 10s, but now that we're in this shootout, and if we're being brutally honest,
with ourselves and with the format that we have laid out,
this might hurt, but I think I like The Machinist better than The Searchers. I never in a million
feels really
fucking
weird,
years,
but I also feel really good about it.
In a weird way, so do I. It feels like pressure's off.
Kind of.
Because I was, do you want to lay it on the table?
Yeah,
I was 99.9% sure The Searchers was going to win the shootout.
Absolutely.
When I sat down, I was almost positive The Searchers was going to win. But right now, I'm telling you, as far as favorite movie goes, the Machinist is... Wow. All right.
Holy shit.
Holy shit, Carl. What did we just do?
We are putting The Machinist...
Fucking A, dude. There it is.
There it is. And I feel good about it, actually.
I do too, man. I'll spin this flick again.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Again and again.
And I will listen to weird podcasts about people that are like there are conspiracy theorists out there about this movie that have blogs pages deep on like theories on this fucking movie. But full disclaimer, like The Searchers clearly is the best made movie. Like you said, it's the godfather of this.
Yes, exactly.
Of this quarter.
But that's what I'm glad I nutted up and fucking said it, because you know what? I
kind of wanted to, but I was like, oh, do I?
You don't want to be the one to say like, come on, The Searchers is. But we can both be in agreement. Take this whole list of 12. The Searchers is the quote unquote best film on this list, but hands down.
Yes, easily.
Like, it doesn't. I had a game plan because I was wondering if it would ever come up against Raising Arizona, and I had a fight plan. But now, fucking, it's the Wild West, and it's all out the window.
It's all out the window.
But yes, we agree. The Searchers is probably the best film we've watched this year, and it's one of our longest episodes.
Oh, we
it's
go
like
in
2
like 2 hours
and
plus.
Something.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane.
But that also though is from indie filmmakers' viewpoint, and from people, we are both appreciators of film,
right?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that movie for 2.5 hours because there's so much
to unpack. And the reason that I love the Western series that we did so much is I literally learned things about myself. I learned things about what I thought about America and about the nature of what it means to be a man and what that means in this modern culture where like men and like you learn so much talking about the movies.
But if we're talking, go back at my notes on The Searchers.
But if we're talking about our favorite damn movies, man, I'm telling you, it's The Machinist.
So.
Do you think
actually, I didn't have that many notes on The Searchers going back through. There was some really interesting, like the use of the letter as flashback and showing time passing. And many filmmakers like Tarantino are visually referring to his movie some shots in reverse. It's a road buddy revenge thriller movie with more to it.
Do you think?
With more to say.
With more to say. Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you think that The Machinist has gotten a little bit of a bump in our heads because of the movie that we watched for the next
Maybe.
episode?
That's kind of interesting to say.
I was just thinking about it, but I do think that the movie we watched for the next episode reestablished the how much I enjoyed The Machinist in my head.
And I've always enjoyed, I think I said this on the podcast, I've always enjoyed The Machinist. I've watched it many times.
Mm-hmm. It was one of the first movies Bird and I watched when we got together. I mean, it's an awesome flick.
Yeah.
All right.
So moving on, Raising Arizona versus The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance.
We know one of our final two films.
Oh, that's right. So The Machinist is going to be coming up against
something.
blows against something.
Holy shit. The Machinist, I never fucking thought in a million years.
Now.
I know, man.
So excited.
We're surprising ourselves.
I'm going to eat a cocktail onion.
I know. I've eaten 2 of them, and I know you've just been jealous the whole time.
That's totally
all right. So the Raising Arizona. God damn, this is fucked up. I didn't realize how hard this was going to be. Raising Arizona versus The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance.
Raising Arizona.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's not going to be as hard as I thought.
No. Well, The Man Who Shot Liberty. If we're gonna do Schindler's
Schindler's List syndrome.
The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance is a better movie. I have a lot. Actually, that was going to be my contender to beat out The Searchers if it came to that. I actually have a thing that's written in my notes says my case for The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance.
Do you want to read it now, or do you want to read it once we know who the winner is? No, read it now because we're about to knock it out. Yeah.
It speaks through the generations. It's calling through the ages to get his boots on him and put his gun belt on him, right? It's like...
Wow, yeah, that line alone that might be the best single line of any film we've watched.
It's a warning not to lose the closeness and community that was once present in America, even before all the states were considered states.
Right.
I even wrote down, it was really cheesy, and I laughed to myself when I wrote it down. It's like, who is your Tom Donovan? Like...
Who was
the person that maybe... should have taken the credit for something that you may or may not have done. Like who bumped you up? Like,
well, and also who was strong and powerful, male and violent, so that you didn't have to.
So you didn't have to be.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I took away. I remember from the episode. One of my biggest things was like the fact that whole. This is almost like not just a goodbye to the West, but a goodbye to the men who populated it, because. Like John Wayne, nobody could have played that character better than John Wayne, because he is the violent man. And what we see is he is necessary, definitely, but eventually to give way to civilization. And I love that even though it says he's no longer necessary because civilization's come in, the movie also poses the question, is civilization really what we want?
Right.
It's such a nuanced film. We both agree. It's a better film. It is literally
asking. It's calling your manhoods cheap.
It really does. It really, really does. That line, get his boots on him, and his gun belt, and his spurs. Fucking hell. Shit.
But at the end of the day, my favorite scene is the restaurant scene.
Mostly because of our commentary.
Because of our commentary. Well,
didn't call
sharp.
She's not calling hot.
Well, that, and it's like there's so much going on, and you get the sense for the Wild West being West, but not necessarily. It is dangerous. It's a dangerous place to be, but it's still, I mean, you still got a restaurant full of people, and you're cooking food, and crazy shit is happening.
And none of the guests until Whip Cracky McGee shows up, none of the guests are like mean or shitty.
No.
They're not.
They're loud, boisterous, drunk.
And do you know how long it takes to cook a well-done steak that's that fucking big?
That one, 2 days.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and they don't have a broiler. They're
pan searing all that shit.
Yeah, that's all stovetop cast iron. You're literally...
They had to call that shit ahead.
Oh, fucking A, dude. That's like, even in a 500-degree broiler, like well-done pork, like half that thick, takes 40 minutes.
Right.
And they're like, make it well burned. And the cook's like, well, fucking settle in. Get yourself a drink. Although that pan is so gigantic.
Oh, that huge skillet. But at the end of the day, Raising Arizona is much more enjoyable. And I think it is...
I think in a way... Look, I'm not saying like Raising Arizona is
and
some
it's
like...
well made.
Yes.
Raising Arizona is impeccably. Like, there is not an unintentional frame of film in that movie.
And again, it's that
there
wall.
There are no gaffes.
It's that wall of performance where you don't have...
insane.
Yeah, it's when you watch that movie, you're like, oh, this is like a funny If it had been just a funny cartoon...
It wouldn't have worked, or it would have just been a funny... It would have been an Adam Sandler fucking movie or something.
Right, but when
it would
you
have been
get...
Happy Gilmore, but...
Don, you're upsetting the victim. You know, like...
right.
What was on the child's jammies? I don't know.
Oh, no.
They were jammies. They had Yodas and shit on them. Like, that dude's performance, and like, I do love
There's
her
the weird sort of
on,
honesty
man.
in the cartoonish performances of every single person in it.
Yeah, I mean, the
caricatures without being outlandish. It's like the weirdest fucking thing. How do you pull that off?
Yeah, I mean, when you get like the Leonard Smalls coming into Mr. Arizona's office,
right?
Nathan Arizona's office and kicking his feet up, you got flies. Like that, and then are you a cop? I'm not a cop. I'm a manhunter. Just that his whole performance, his whole delivery, everything Nick Cage does, everything fucking William Forsythe does, everything John Goodman does, Holly Hunter. That movie's like unassailable, man.
So
it's not a weak film. It's not.
Because I think I need to save some of this because it's probably going to be coming up against something else.
You got Raising Arizona notes.
I have Raising Arizona notes. I said I laugh just thinking about this movie.
Yes.
Like not even thinking about anything particular. If I think about my Blu-ray case in my, when I think about the Blu-ray, I'm like, you're a funny movie. You know?
Well, which Blu-ray case do you have? I have the Nick Cage, Holly Hunter, and the baby sitting on the. Yeah. Okay, so
it's the classic poster.
So we've got it there. Raising Arizona's the winner here. Again, and early on, it's like, yeah, that's the winner. But in these, I really do feel like we need to like pour one out for the fallen.
Yeah,
like, the man who shot Liberty Valance. I'm telling you, that is as strong. I mean, I'm not saying it's as good as Raising Arizona. It's an American film classic. But for the purposes of our podcast, Raising Arizona we both like it more. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Moving on.
I might rewatch The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance like 10 years from now. Raising Arizona, maybe next week.
I might watch Raising Arizona tonight.
Right.
I'm not lying, man. Bird's
not a fan.
She doesn't like Nick Cage at all, and she doesn't really like the Coen brothers either. So the combination is...
Apparently, I don't like the Coen brothers except for...
except all their films.
Except for all their films.
Yeah, we went over this.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm not a huge Coen brothers fan. I listed like 10, and you're like, yeah, those are all great.
Two of them that I don't.
Right. They've made some recent missteps, but their body of work. We discovered that you are in fact a Coen Brothers fan, but you disapprove of Burn After Reading and what was the other one?
The Men Who Stare at Goats.
The Men Who Stare at Goats. Yeah. So there's like two movies that you're like, what the fuck, Coen Brothers? I hate everything. Done.
I'm so upset about it. I'm like, fuck you and all of your body of work. Your entire movie collection is shit.
No Country for Old Bullshit. All right.
Raising Arizona.
Exactly.
I don't even know.
Did you say Raising Arizona? Is that what you just said? Whatever you said, I'm going to let it live as boner in my head because it made me giggle. Dark Horse Division. This is the last...
Scanner Darkly versus Valley Girl Scanner Darkly.
I know. Like, let's not even talk about it. I had to...
We don't have to talk about it. I think it's understandable. We have two Nick Cage movies.
I pitted the two movies
right. Never mind.
I pitted the two movies that you didn't like next to each other because I kind of knew what would happen. Let's just be honest here. That said, I can't let it pass without giving it a word. I really thought Valley Girl was a lot of fun, and since I posted on Instagram that I'd watched it. Bizarrely, because every time I watch a movie for the flick, I Instagram it. I got more responses for Valley Girl than any other movie I've watched.
How funny is that?
It's so weird. Mostly because people recognize the lead actress from Real Genius.
Oh,
she's the lead actress in that film as well. But like the scene I posted was the
movie.
Oh, bitchin', is this in 3D? No, but your face is. Like I posted that, and like my brother and there was 3 people I didn't know who posted like, love this movie. I'm like, who are you?
Who are you?
Yeah.
Watch our podcast or listen to it.
Yeah, Measuring Flicks, iTunes. Pretty soon on SoundCloud. Go check it out. All right, so we got one more shootout before we get to the final two. Raising Arizona versus A Scanner Darkly. I know there's a snap judgment here, but
yeah, there is.
Consider for a second. I think I know which way I'm going.
All right. Okay. So let me read some of my notes on Raising Arizona.
Yes, go.
It is a visual delight, for one.
It is. John Goodman's face.
After shot is meticulously designed and executed. A simple story told from a place of heightened reality where the characters are more than just mere characters. They're something else.
In a weird way, the characters in Raising Arizona are like archetypes.
Mm-hmm.
They're like...
But they're not cookie cutter.
The way that we talked about Westerns being American mythology,
mm-hmm.
you can almost see Raising Arizona as like modern American mythology.
Well, yeah,
like
it's the nuclear family.
They even have a line in Raising Arizona where Nathan Arizona says
Is it nuclear or nuclear?
He says, I think he says nuclear, but he says the wife and the kids are taking off to, well, I won't say where. They'll come home when we're a nuclear family again.
Yep.
That speaks enormously to the theme of the film. But yeah, I'm right there with you, man. They're more than they are. It's
the thing that I love the most about this movie is something that we said on the podcast when we were covering it. There's something to be said about a movie that you could sit down and watch and pick apart frame by frame.
Yeah.
Or have it playing while you're
flexibility
of this movie.
Yeah.
You can't just, it's like not one of those movies where you're like, oh, watch it, but you gotta make sure you're paying attention.
Yeah, this is not a 1 or 4-star movie. This is a 5-star movie that you can just watch, and it'll always be, no matter what state you watch it
But
in.
if you want to sit down with a pair of binoculars and like
dig through this
shit,
you can dig through
or a microscope is what I actually meant.
Binoculars.
But, you're gonna watch it from my
far
neighbor's
away.
house.
Yeah, Bluetooth headset. But no, like seriously, you can watch this movie with like your IMDb open and like a search on your phone, and you can frame by frame it, and you can that's an homage, like, oh, look at that acting moment. Or you can get drunk as shit and make a bowl of popcorn and watch this movie with 20 people
and laugh your ass off
either way
and cry.
It's a fucking blast.
Yep.
That said, I don't want to discount it too quickly because I know we're riding high on H.I. McDonough right now.
Yeah.
But A Scanner Darkly, this was your dark horse pick, and when you sent that to me, this is also my dark horse pick. We just when we started texting about this episode, we didn't want to talk, we didn't want to spoil
nothing.
We didn't want to exchange information, but to build the brackets, I needed to know our top 4 so I could pit them against stuff that I thought would be challenging, and I needed to know our underdog, the movie that might stand a chance when we sat down and talked about them. The movie that, when you just look at it on paper, might not win, but when 2 people are in a room and revisiting the film, might do better than you expect. And that movie for both of us was A Scanner Darkly.
Yeah, how interesting is that?
I think there's a reason for it, too. Like, put that out of your head for a second.
Yeah.
And just look at A Scanner Darkly. Just take yourself back to the first time that you experienced the rotoscoping and the substance D and the drug and the disassociation, and then
I was disassociated watching the movie.
But then also suddenly being confronted with 1, brilliant performance, and 2, like the fact that you can even talk about the cinematography is genius again and again, and you're essentially watching colored in frames.
Right.
The sequence when is it Charles, the guy who thinks he has the bugs?
Oh,
on
the bug.
Yeah. The scene when he tries to kill himself and fails and just trips balls for like hours and hours.
His eyes just darting back and forth.
And the radio is reading a passage from A Scanner Darkly. Like they're reading directly from Philip K. Dick's book, and there's a narrator to his fake suicide. It's the darkest, most hysterically funny humor. I will now read all of your sins, and he unleashes that scroll. And and then the narrator goes, he settled back and he thought to himself, at least the wine was good. Like,
at least the wine was good.
There's so many moments of humor, and then the moments of humor will bend slightly and become ominous. Like when that guy shows up, I think his name is Chuck or Charles, but when he shows up and he's like, what are you guys doing? Like, because they're all working on the car. And then all of a sudden, Robert Downey Jr. and Woody Harrelson has a huge fucking rock in his hand, and Robert Downey Jr. I think gets a gun, and like suddenly the tension.
Suddenly it's like, holy shit, he's gonna shoot this dude.
Yeah, and then the guy leaves, and they all forget that they were almost about to kill each other because they're so fucked up and disassociated and strung out on drugs. I mean, A Scanner Darkly is a genuinely strong film and weirdly enjoyable.
It is.
But look, I think I know what my vote is for this one. I think you do too, but I thought we should give A Scanner Darkly a stand.
Give it a serious nod and a slow clap.
Raising Arizona is the
It's
winner.
Raising Arizona.
Okay. The reason for me, because watching A Scanner Darkly, every time I watch it, I get chills.
It made it pretty far down the...
It really did, but when I don't know about you, but when I watch that movie and it's finished, kind of like the movie we're going to watch for next week, you're like, you sit there and you're like, it's like a magic trick. You're like, how did they do that?
Right.
What did I just see, and how did it work?
How did that bend my brain in that way?
You almost want to be like, do it again. Let me watch closer. I'll
figure it out.
Right, and it gives you that same sense of delight.
I'll figure out the sleight of hand, right?
Right.
It's that whole...
What its biggest mark against it is that it affects me too much. It's too powerful.
When I want to watch it, I don't. I'm like, oh, I'm not prepared to feel that way for a couple of days.
If you've got to work,
no, don't do it.
Yeah, you can't watch it before work, or if you work early. If you got stuff going on that day, don't spin this flick. But like, if you've got some time and you want to like get weird in your head, this is awesome
good one for
movie.
that.
All right, so there it is. We are to our final showdown.
Are you fucking kidding me right now?
I literally did not think either of these films would make it to this point.
And here we are.
The Machinist. Let's give them their full due.
Yeah.
2004's The Machinist, directed by Brad Anderson, and 1987's Raising Arizona, directed by the Coen brothers, technically by Joel Coen, but come on, we know it's both of them. What do we do, Carl?
I don't know.
What do we do right now? Again,
I'm going to go with my gut right now. Just throw a movie out there. The Machinist.
You're going to say The Machinist?
Yep.
I'm going with Raising Arizona.
Okay.
So now we need to discuss. We need to confer.
Oh boy.
Okay.
All right.
What is your case for The Machinist as far as your favorite movie?
All right. So
I see a chink in the armor.
So no,
right
this
now.
is the thing. So one of my criteria was, does it inspire you as a filmmaker?
Does it inspire you as a filmmaker?
It does.
Okay.
Not necessarily this is the kind of story that I want to tell, but it's the feeling that this movie gave me. It's the place that it brings you to, and the way that the story is told through the eyes of our protagonist, to where you're losing your mind with him. But unlike Scanner Darkly, I don't walk away feeling like my brain is hurting. I come away asking questions and curious.
Yeah.
And I continue to be curious. And I want to go seek out and find more answers. And this movie I will probably rewatch over and over and over again for that reason. And it's funny that this is put up against Raising Arizona, where I feel like the same thing could sort of be said just from like the shot composition and how the story is told. Like the narrative, it comes to this heightened sort of place where they're caricatures of each other. But overall, I think The Machinist is a better made movie, and I think that over the course of the years, I mean, it's two different things. This is like a comedy about family, and then it's a very dark and intentionally paced Hitchcock flick.
Right.
But when I watch Raising Arizona, it doesn't make me go, I'm going to go out and I'm going to write that screenplay and I'm going to shoot a thing. For The Machinist does that for me because of all the twists and turns and Easter eggs and the curiosities that bubble to the surface and the Twilight Zone nature of it too, with the clock ticking back and forth and back and forth.
That for me, I'm with you actually. That when both of these movies, when I look at them, I see masterpieces of construction and writing. Because with The Machinist, that there are so many moving parts, to borrow from the world of the film, but there are so many moving parts where to have the clock at the end of the movie reference a scene in the beginning of the movie, to reference Dream Theory where hands look weird and have characters with fucked up hands, have people missing limbs and have deformities on the same side of their body, to have this, the world is fully realized. And every single strand of the spider web that is this film touches and wiggles every other little strand, and the viewer is the spider in the center. And it can feel, you can, watching the movie, even if you're not watching it with a critical eye and picking out all of the clock,
you feel all those little twitches and weird,
it keeps you off balance because you're watching the guy with the weird hand, and something in the back of your head is telling you about Michael Ironside. And you see the car go through the stoplight, and you hear the squeal of brakes, and suddenly you're thinking about his waiter girlfriend and her kid, and you don't know why until the last 5 minutes of the film, when bam, it all comes together, and it leaves no two strands untied. It utterly wraps it up. But I feel exactly the same way that you feel about this film, about Raising Arizona. Because for me, my particular writing style, the way that I like to write, I think I said it in the Raising Arizona episode, if I could write a script that was even half as good as the Raising Arizona script, they got two Chinese boys and a Negro with this hot one on the outside. Hit the deck, boy. Mind you don't cut yourself, Mordecai. That's one scene.
Yeah.
Get away from Mr. McDonough's car. And then, if you don't breastfeed him now, they'll hate you for it later.
Yeah.
That's what Doc Schwartz tells us. Every line of that movie is quotable. Everything everyone says to everyone else is quotable. See that, boy? There's the D-van. He's tired, huh? Well, come on, young man, kick your dogs up, take a load off. Every fucking line that they write is so considered and measured. Everything hits, everything lands, every performance is flawless. I think here's why I'm going Raising Arizona, because I was going to say, I think both films are unassailable. But,
sure.
But The Machinist does have one brief chink in its armor.
Oh, fuck, it sure does, doesn't it?
That weak-ass CG, man. That weak-ass car hit CG.
It is so bad.
If it was even
in a world of two perfect movies, we throw the one out because of the one flaw in its armor.
I know.
But that's how Smaug got shot, right?
What are we doing? Lord of the Rings rules?
Lord of the Rings.
No, but I mean literally. Because I'm saying it right now. I'm saying I think that if you cut that 10 seconds out of the movie, The Machinist and Raising Arizona would be two perfect films.
Movies.
And I don't know if I could decide. But because Raising Arizona is from second one to the final credits to utterly flawless, and The Machinist does have one moment where every time I see it, I'm like, come on, what the fuck is that?
It takes you out of it completely.
But you go back in, and it ends so strong, and you go down that rabbit hole. But every time I watch that movie, there is that one moment where you're like, fuck.
All right, I just read my note, a couple of my notes on Raising Arizona.
Which are?
So, a joy to watch from an indie filmmaker perspective. Nick Cage's best movie, almost a perfect film. Everything is intentional.
But, devil's advocate, The Machinist is the same way.
There's nothing too deep going on here unless you seek it out. But it is there for you to discover in Raising Arizona.
Like a great Beatles song. They're fun pop songs.
I even wrote down, it's highly rewatchable, more quotable than Ghostbusters.
That's high praise.
And the fact that I laugh just thinking about this movie, the Blu-ray cover. All right. Maxwell Peterson.
Carl Harling.
I believe that our pick for quarter one
have we come
is
together?
Raising Arizona.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think our pick for quarter one is going to be Raising Arizona, and I cannot say it enough though.
And I feel completely fine saying that.
You know what? I do too. Part of me, honestly, I'm saying once Bird goes to sleep, I might sneak downstairs. And I'll turn on the DVD, the Blu-ray player, and it's gonna go. And I'm gonna be like, shh.
You're gonna open up your
quiet.
Open up the Blu-ray case.
Exactly, and I might spin this flick tonight, man. I'm telling you. But cannot say it enough. The Machinist is one of my favorite films.
Yeah, it beat The Searchers. Let's let that resonate for a second.
You hear the silverware in the background. Yeah. But another thing that makes me realize how much I truly love The Machinist and don't want to take away anything from it. One of these two movies had to win.
Yeah.
And I think that it should have been. I'm glad that we made it Raising Arizona, but the fact that I am utterly comfortable with the Machinist over the Searchers. The fact that, like, when the Machinist won, I almost felt like, okay, good, we did it. I'm glad we did that.
Exactly.
That speaks epic volumes to how much respect and love I have for that movie. The Machinist is awesome. So, our first quarter winner is Raising Arizona.
I feel real good about it.
So do I.
Yeah.
That was a journey, man.
I'm like shaking your hand. Like, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Sir.
We've made it 3 months. Did you expect this to be? I mean, this episode it's longer than some of our normal episodes. Right. This is an hour and a half.
Oh, I thought it'd be much longer than that.
Oh, did you?
Sometime. Well, actually, an hour and a half.
A 4-part, 2 hours episodes.
I figured it's either going to be 20 minutes or like 2.5 hours. So the fact that it's clocking in at like 90 minutes plus, we
came in at ideal Hollywood film length.
Fucking fantastic.
Perfect.
We just need to find an animator that can do like the cartoon version
of this. Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that in maybe the distant future, but not too distant, we can get some video stuff going. Yeah. Because I think particularly these type of episodes would be fun.
It would behoove the podcast to have.
Right, like the regular episodes would be fun to see. But sure. This episode would be good on video. Anyway,
love it.
Yeah, man. So there it is.
Quarter 1, Raising Arizona. Raising Arizona's got some work to do coming up.
You mean the episode we're about to record?
Well, that and just if you look at our list,
we got a whole month of Robin Williams films.
Robin Williams. You've got Terry Gilliam. We've got Jim Jarmusch. We have David Lynch. We've
got some strong contenders up ahead in the wings. Now we're not going to revisit Raising Arizona until the end of the year. Yeah. And what I was thinking actually is we should take our top 4 and spin all 4 of them before we do the episode to rewatch.
I think that's fine. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Because
4 movies is doable.
Oh, absolutely.
So when we do our big year-end shootout, we could
make it a day. Do a thing. Have the girls over. Make dinner. Make lunch. Make breakfast.
In that order.
I like to do things a little strangely.
Breakfast for dinner. I love it. We'll do some pancakes. We'll spin the last flick.
What's weird? You'll have breakfast for dinner, but does anyone ever do dinner for breakfast? Question.
Steak and eggs?
Question of the day.
Yeah, let's throw it to you, listeners. I got nothing else. I'm actually like
I feel really good. I'm like super jazzed.
Super good too. Yeah, I was worried that it was going to be like, well, we compromised, and I guess that was the. But right. I really do feel like this was like we did good.
Yep.
I feel so good, Karl.
Oh my gosh. Oh, you have some housekeeping.
Well, and I'm glad that we feel good because the next thing we're going to do tonight.
Oh my god, is breaking my soul. Again, I watched this 2 days ago, I think.
Yeah, me too.
I'm still fucked up.
Dude, it's so good. All right, but if you want to find out what Karl and I are so devastatingly fucked up about, tune in next week to Measuring Flicks. In the meantime, we do have a little bit of housekeeping on our way out, but we're going to go so fast through it, you're not even going to know it's there.
Blast through it.
We are a listener-supported podcast, and if you like what we do, if you enjoy our cinematic hijinks, you can head on over to patreon.com/Max Peterson, Peterson. You can get shout-outs on the show, access to all sorts of crazy, awesome bonus episodes we've been doing. There was a bonus episode that we were supposed to shout out during the shootout, and we didn't.
Really?
Yes, you texted me about it. We did a Patreon mini-series.
Oh, right.
We did we should do this really quick before the housekeeping.
Let's do it really quick, yeah.
All right, we did a series of films over on Patreon called I Spit on Your Grave. We did the original from 1978, and we did the 3 remakes. The 3 remakes were fine and fun. The third one was utter bullshit.
Yeah.
Then we watched the 1978 original film, one of the most controversial films ever made.
Yep.
Roger Ebert has a hysterically eviscerating review of it, and but what's weird is it's kind of accurate. So both Karl and I, and actually Bird, who's in the living room or in the kitchen, but as far as you guys know, she could be anywhere. We all agreed that if we were allowed to include
regular season,
if we could put Patreon episodes in the shootout, that movie may have gone far.
Yeah.
So I want to do this really quick. Look, sure. Raising Arizona is our pick.
It's the winner. Yeah.
But let's shoot it out really quick. Let's go down the list.
All right.
Let's start at the bottom.
It beats Drive Angry and Valley Girl.
It beats Valley Girl. It beats In the Mouth of Madness. It beats A Scanner Darkly, I think.
Yeah, it's real close.
So let's give the ones that I'm going to circle the ones that it might not beat because I'm telling you this movie is strong.
It might not beat Man Who Shot Liberty Valance.
Does it beat Butch Cassidy?
No.
Okay, so it doesn't beat Butch Cassidy or The Man Who Shot Unforgiven?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so as well. It definitely doesn't beat Raising Arizona.
Kiss of Death, yes.
I think so as well.
The Machinist, no. The Jacket, yes. The Searchers, no.
Oh, wait, it does beat Kiss of Death.
Yeah.
does beat the jacket, but doesn't beat the. It does beat the jacket, but it doesn't beat the searchers. Okay, right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this movie is just barely not in the 50%.
In the 50%, right.
So this would be the top of the bottom, essentially. And I think that actually fits pretty well with the movies that we watched, but I just
wanted to give the movie a shout out on the regular show.
Yeah.
Because it was...
Even if you don't go and listen to the Patreon episodes, which actually are a lot more fun than I was expecting, they turned out really well. But even if you don't listen to the Patreon episodes, if you think that you can stomach it, it's a harsh movie.
It's hard to watch. It's not easy.
No, it's definitely a bit of a bitter pill, but it will reward you. The original I Spit on Your Grave from 1978 is hard to track down. You're going to have to work to find it, but damn it if that was not a great film.
Yeah, there's filmmaking happening in that
most
movie.
Definitely. It's excellent. So I'm glad we remembered to do that.
Yeah, just wanted to shout it out. Yeah.
So anyway, you can go and hear the episode we did on that and the other remakes. Coming up, we're going to be doing House of Wax and the remake of House of Wax, where we can get, as Karl pointed out, Vincent Price in one and Paris Hilton dying in the other.
Yep.
So fuck yeah. Go over there and read all about it over there. Speaking of listener support and Patreon, we have some patrons that we shout out every episode until we get enough patrons that it becomes untenable, which who knows when that'll be. Hopefully soon. So as always, I will start out by thanking profusely and from the bottom of my heart. I feel like we're at some weird award show because I've got this thing written. John Scheibe and Casey Scheibe over in NYC. You guys make this show and the Chapman and Robin, because that's another show that they support. You make these podcasts possible. We couldn't do this without you, and we would not be having nearly as much fun if I didn't know that you guys were listening every week. And I get because they're my friends, I get texts from them in the morning, and they're like, "What the fuck were you thinking?" Or I totally agree with you, man. I love getting
that is awesome.
Yeah. So we also are supported by
the one and only Connor Sweeney.
One and only Connor Sweeney. You're not talking about the Connor Sweeney who was recently cloned over 1,000 times.
No one is supposed to know about that. Did they release the official
the memo
report?
No, I don't think it was a leaked memo from North Korea. The North Korean cloning program. They cloned Connor Sweeney.
Sweeney's going to be pissed.
Which one? There's over 1,000 of him now.
I thought there was 10.
Do you mean no? They cloned 1,000. Do you mean Connor Sweeney Prime? Or are you talking about Connor Sweeney 1? Are you talking about Connor Sweeney 2? Are you talking about Connor Sweeney 3? Which? I don't know how we're supposed to refer to him anymore. And actually, which one are we shouting out? Is he
the Connor Sweeney?
No, is it the Connor Sweeney?
Oh my God, now I don't know.
Because what if Connor Sweeney 566 has a really great job and now he's the one that's bankrolling this podcast? Karl, what the fuck are we supposed to do with this? Go ahead.
My entire life is a lie. Connor Sweeney, the real Connor Sweeney, if you're out there, just shoot me a text, bro. Let me know which one you are. Just text me a number. Let me know.
Which Connor Sweeney do you know?
Which Connor Sweeney? I don't know.
Oh my God.
It could be any of them.
Look, we really like the machinist. Yeah. Look, this is evidence right there. I have so much fun making shit up for Connor. All right, so if you want to follow us, no, let's stick with the show. If you have anything you want to say to us as podcasters of Measuring Flicks, you want to talk movies, you want to talk films, you disagree with our picks, or you think that we made the right move, you can drop us a line because we have an email address now.
I'm so happy.
It's measuringflickspodcast@gmail.com. How fucking easy is that?
You had to set up a whole Gmail account?
Oh, yeah, man.
How long did that take you?
Literally, I was online for 35 seconds today. It was fucking harrowing. I'm on there. They're like, what do you want your email to be? I'm like, Jesus, I have to pick this? Are you kidding me? I guess the name of the podcast and then the word podcast. God. And then they're like, password. I'm like, fuck, I got to make up a password? Oh, everything I type just looks like a dot. How am I supposed to know my password? It was terrible.
What would be great is if password is just asterisk, 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 asterisk.
So then what you're seeing is utterly accurate?
It's utterly accurate.
Yeah, so drop us a line, measuringflickspodcast@gmail.com. Tell us your harrowing stories of 35-second email accounts. I can't wait to start getting sex spot spam.
Oh my God, it's going to be great.
Just be reading it on the podcast. I'll be like, somebody named Sassy Susie 76 wants me to eat her butt for an hour.
Tiny Daddy Big Dick wants to.
By the way, Karl, have you ever been interested in male enhancement? Because, boy, do I have some literature for you.
Oh, wow, 47 pages.
If you want to follow us on the normal through normal channels, social media is the word I was looking for.
I think that's the one.
Yeah, Karl Hartley is on Facebook as Karl Hartley. That's KarlHartley. He's on Instagram, I swear to God.
Yeah,
and one day I will get him to post some fucking pictures. Crazy Karl, one word, right?
Yep, one word.
Crazy Karl 006. And if you don't know what that means, then go fuck yourself.
Exactly. And it's crazy with a K.
Crazy with a K. Crazy Karl 006. I'm on there as actual Max P. I am on Twitter occasionally as Max J. Peterson. That's all the shit that's fit to print.
Dude, you David Letterman the shit out of that.
I know, dude. Did you see that thing just like whip around like a little fucking shuriken? All right, so that was our first Shootout episode. I'm super stoked to do another one. I almost want to just binge all the movies so we can do this. Do you want to just record, 11 episodes next time we get together?
Oh, if it were a different lineup of movies, yes.
Oh my God, yeah, we got some really heavy hitters coming up. All right, so that's all I have. So you know what I'm gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
Rather than do a sign out, I'm just going to just continue to talk and continue to ramble, and behind it in post, I'm gonna put the Oscar music telling me to get off the stage because we did a little mini awards show, and I think that it's really cool.
And you sort of dressed up a little bit.
I did. Well, look at you. You're
wearing a jacket.
You've got a polo shirt. You've got is it tweed? Would you call that a tweed?
It's like a tweed jacket.
I can see a hook coming from off stage.
I mean, maybe a small one. It can't get us both.
The hook? No, definitely not. And if they jerk me off stage, it's going to be...
They're going to jerk you off stage.
They're going to jerk me